Hey everybody, this is Todd.
And I'm Jill.
And welcome to the Soulful Creator Podcast. Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody.
I'm Todd.
I'm Jill.
This is Jill. We're having a good time.
I'm Soul. He's human.
He's human.
He's Hugh.
I'm Hugh.
We're dorky.
We are really dorky. We're having a good time. We don't expect much, but we're just talking, It's kind of like we're out on the swing and we're just,
We like to talk.
Talk about
I need to listen more.
Fun things.
Funny that his last name is Listen. Isn't that funny? It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
How did I meet somebody that's reminding me
That's actually how I tell people how they spell my name. Is Listen. But yes, no, Jill's
Spirit is funny.
She's funny. All right. Okay, today our topic is going to be on that it's not selfish to love ourselves, right?
That's right.
And we were talking about this, and Jill was telling me, it says, "Okay, Todd, you need to talk more."
Yes, because it's my turn to listen.
It's becoming the Jill show, which I've already told her it's always going to be the Jill show. I'm just the eye candy.
No, it's not.
I'm the eye
you
candy.
You are my 50% counterpart here. He's Hugh.
I wouldn't say 50%, but maybe 20. But she's like, I need to hear more from you. So I'm going to share a little story about me, make a little bit of my journey about how I came to feel that it wasn't selfish to love myself. And again, as we get married, and again, culture dictates a lot of things that happen to us, is that when I was married, and when you have those vows, and then especially when you have children, you tend to lose yourself in those children, right? Because they are obviously a big responsibility, obviously, yes. And then from day one until they're out of the house, and sometimes even they come back and then out of the house.
It's service, really.
They're a big part of your life, and so it's very easy for me, and I would lose myself in my kids, because a lot of times you feel like your legacy is with those children. And so, but the one thing that's dangerous about that is that you forget about yourself, and you don't do the things that you need to every day to work on yourself. And because again, if you don't, a good friend of mine talked to me about the concept of mask on first. In an airplane, why they tell you that you to put your mask on first before you help your kids, because why? You're no good to that child if you're not safe, right? And so that was a big turning point.
Can I say something about that?
Sure.
And it's the same thing with our Creator, and I don't care what your beliefs are, if you want to call it God, Spirit, Soul, Higher Power, whatever. There's something mysterious beyond us that we don't completely understand. But the soul is tied to that energy, right? Yeah. And we're vehicles, we're channels. We are here, and part of the soul's journey is to remember to be that it's part of our purpose to become a channel of truth, and to emanate light and love and embody that energy to help others remember why we're here. Right. And so that's part of our journey is we have to do that work if we're ever going to be of any use to our Creator.
That's right. No, and that's when what I learned is that I was too much, my worth came too much from my children, and that I gained a lot of weight. You wouldn't know that now, but he
looks really great.
That's another episode that we're going to share. But there was a lot of things that that I was not keeping care of myself. I wasn't eating well. I was numbing myself through. Again, we had a tough upbringing, my kids and my story, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But I lost myself with my kids, and I wasn't working on me, right? And then that concept of when it became the mask on first, it was like I almost felt like it was selfish, right? Like, well, why would I've always come from a place of service, right? Where I want to serve other people, but I wasn't serving myself, right? And so that whole concept of finding out that no, it's not selfish to put yourself first, especially when your kids are now out of the house and living very productive lives. It's now time for me to maybe get a few of those years back.
The third act.
The third act.
It's really when we have to come back to us.
About last time.
We matter.
Right.
Yeah.
So the whole, and again, you might be thinking, the same thing. Maybe your kids tell you, well, hey, you need to be doing this, or they need to be,
They definitely try to pull us off of our path of us continuing to live beyond 50.
Right. I mean,
they're so used to us serving this. Like, why wouldn't my mom just keep serving me, right?
I mean, it's like, we expect grandparents are supposed to be doing this, right? And that's not
rocking chairs.
That's not for us yet.
Watching TV.
Maybe
Totally
in 20 years, right?
Totally not for me. I'm not done yet, you guys.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet. So, again, the whole concept of being selfish, it's not, and we're gonna again be talking a lot about this. But Jill, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story, about your healing and how you have came to.
Okay.
Can we start there?
Sure. Self-love. Oh gosh,
self-love.
It's been such a journey for me. I could go on and on and on for hours and hours.
It's
been quite the journey.
We only have.
I know. I'm gonna try to keep it concise. Okay, so what I want to say about self-love was there was a time in my life, this was back around 2010-ish, so about 10 years ago, when I just felt like I was just not happy inside. And, I felt, even though from the outside my life looked like I had it all, I had the successful business and the beautiful children and that were all succeeding. And, I was a beautiful person. And on the outside, everything just, people envied my life. But on the inside, I was just, something wasn't right. And I didn't know what it was. And initially, I thought, I just want to fix my marriage, right? I just wanted to fix my marriage. And I thought, well, I can't fix my marriage. I can't fix him. I can't control him. I can't make him love me, and so I realized that was my work to do, that he was never ever meant to love me. That the contract that we had together was that my ex was never ever going to be the soulmate that loved me, because his role was to definitely not love me, so that I would turn within and love myself. And when he left, I kind of started my journey in 2010, and I had a girlfriend say, why don't you go to college? Because I was just missing something. And, I wanted to grow. I just felt like I was dying slowly every day. And one of my good girlfriends said, have you thought about going to college? And I thought, no, I haven't, and I had always thought I was stupid. My whole life I'd been told I was stupid because I didn't wear my glasses in school, because I cared more about being beautiful and accepted than learning. And so eventually I thought, I am going to go back to college, right? And I talked to my husband about it, and I heard comments from family members, on his side of the family, that was like, hey, that's really selfish. People would say, you're being really selfish.
This was age 40.
And this is after I had a business and I was successful, and I'm like, we can write that off as training. And, I needed some time for myself. And yet I had people on the sidelines saying, hey, that is really selfish for you to do that. It's selfish for you as a mother to go back to school. It's selfish for you as a wife. And, that was really, really hurtful and really hard for me to hear. And I realize now that, when there are people out there that aren't growing, they get jealous of people that are, and people that are challenging themselves and coming into greatness. And, it kind of tied into, my husband ended up leaving me in 2012, and and I remember this, so it kind of started in 2010. By 2012, there was a scenario where my daughter came to me and said, Mom, you are so negative. And I was in denial. And I was just like, no, I'm not. I'm not negative. And she goes, yes, you are. She says, every time you look in the mirror, now I'm asking myself, do I look fat? And so I had said that so much to everyone, and focusing on me not being enough, not knowing my worth, that I was passing on, insecurity and low self-esteem to my beautiful daughters that were in their teens. And I thought, oh my gosh, I realized I absolutely want to fix myself. I want to fix myself to fix my marriage. I want to fix myself so I don't pass this crap on to my daughters. There is so much pain inside here. I need to figure out how to get rid of it, you know?
Yeah.
And so that began my journey of realizing that no one else was ever supposed to love me. It was always part of my soul's journey to learn about my soul and learn about my own self-worth and how to love myself. And that's and realizing, you know, there are going to be naysayers. There are going to be people out there that feel threatened that you're trying to raise the bar. And, you know, they'll see you out there having fun, getting your nails done, or, you know, doing something cool, getting a new bike, you know, exploring, buying an RV and taking off for a year. And whatever that expression that your soul needs, there might be people who are like, how dare you live another way than what we've been taught as humans, which is to be on the hamster wheel of survival for the rest of our lives, right? How dare you try to be a leader and create a new way to live?
It's kind of like the crab bucket, right? The crabs are, if one's trying to get out of the bucket, the other one's going to grab it and bring it back down, right? That's kind of like how these people are, right?
And they'll be friends and family members and people that are vibrating at a lower vibration of doubt and I can't and you shouldn't and it's not supposed to be that way. And, you know, the challenge for us to live soulfully is to rise above the old way of being, the old way of thinking and being motivated from lack and limitation and fear, but being motivated more from desire and fulfillment.
Yeah. So the whole part about, you know, comparing and competing.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there was a time when I had to take a look at myself and I thought, why is this hurting so bad that other people are making these judgments of me, these family members that are telling me, you know, do they not realize how much in pain I am and how disconnected I feel from my husband? And I was disconnected from myself, but I didn't know it, you know? Yeah. But I had to start by looking at myself and saying, you know, why, you know, if I'm feeling that pain, that their judgment, and I'm taking that in, and I'm letting their opinion of me affect me, then, you know, then I've got work to do on the inside that maybe, and I started to realize, wow, I've been judgmental against others, and I've been judgmental against myself. Because the way that I look at the world, the glasses that I use to look through the world are the same lenses that I judge myself by. And so until I learn to become a loving being from the inside and pull, you know, my self-esteem, my self-worth from my core center, which is my soul, you know, I needed to get in alignment, that human part of me, with my soul before I could really clean and clear my lenses in the way that I perceived others. But I needed to also, you know, come from a loving perspective when I was looking at myself.
Right. I think the comparing is something that, again, you've always taught me. Again, I'm kind of her student in many ways. Is that
stop it? He's just as much of a teacher and leader.
Is that the comparing thing is like we all have these programs that we've been used to during our marriages, right? That even when we do get divorced and we're on our own, we still are playing those same programs, right?
It's like a broken record.
Right?
It's like it's the old neural pathways are carved so deeply that it's like the old record player, right?
Yeah.
We haven't upgraded to digital programs that we can change quickly.
Right.
We're still doing this old record player, right? Because we've been on the planet a lot longer, and it's going to take us a little bit more to change those programs.
Right. Yeah, and going into the dating scene, you know, taking those bad programs can be limiting to us, right? Because we're comparing, we're bringing old bad programs into, and that's not how we want to start. We want to be able to, you know, start afresh and new, and then the whole part of loving yourself is part of that, right? Is finding that new way.
Yeah, and I think, you know, my journey to become for me to reunite with my soul and to remember my child self and to come from a place of authenticity and truth and to learn my truth.
Yeah.
that all came from the very first thing that my soul told me, when I started to, pray and meditate and listen. And yeah, I had to take time for me, guys. I did. I took a lot of time for me. And my kids, did they think it was selfish? Maybe. But I'll tell you this much. When they're my age, they're going to follow my lead. And they're going to take the time for themselves, because that's what I'm teaching them through my actions. And so self-love, was huge for me. It was that my soul came to the surface and said, hey, Jill, remove the veil.
Right.
It's all about love. And you got to really dig deep and understand, because the soul lives in the land of love. That's the land of truth. That's the land of abundance. That's the land of joy. It's not this illusion that the human part of us has been playing in, of lack and limitation and lies, right? So we're making that shift, and it was my soul and me having a desire to want to reunite with my soul, and me being humbled enough to come to my soul and ask for guidance and recognize that there was this great being within myself that had all the answers, that was connected with infinite intelligence and resources and truth that could guide me to teach me a new way of being.
Right. So part of, for me, learning to again, those programs that we have when they're hard to, again, to break and get onto the new 2.0 me, which I is I had to set safe boundaries, right, for others.
Right.
Where I was so used to taking care of my kids, a lot of times my needs were never met, right? So now it's about making those boundaries of like, hey, saying no a few times to people who are going to take a lot of your time away.
Right.
I think that's is the boundary, especially again at our age. And again, we're going to be talking so much about grandkids and kids and the time that they want us to have, to all of themselves, and they want to put us into a certain box and things like that. But we have to have those.
We get to have a life still, guys. Just because we're 50 doesn't mean we're dead.
Right.
It's really when life begins. And it's not just the 50-year-olds that we're having this reawakening of the soul, but life is really beginning again, because we're bringing an end to the human journey as we've known it, and we're turning it into the soulful journey. And there's a rebirthing process of us learning to live from a place of truth, because we've had it. We're not going to live that old way anymore. No one has the patience for it, for living in lies. And it's an exciting time to be alive. And it's, we're in this place of, I call it the uncomfortable space in between, of recreating a new way of being. And it kind of feels like stepping off into this black space of the unknown. And it's super scary.
It's scary.
And we need to have, I've needed my soul to have a guide to help me navigate through the soulful journey and through these changes of us learning how to become creators to create a new world.
See how she does that? She just kind of...
Boom.
I bring a little point, and she just brings it home.
Whatever. We're a good fit.
We are. We're
a good team.
I would say that we are. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this.
Stay with us.
We're having fun. Again, give us some comments of how we're doing. Anything you want to learn about or talk about. Again, we're all in our 50s. We're having a good time. A lot of great topics to talk about.
And if you're not 50 and you're liking 50, the channel,
40,
tell us too.
30, 20, whatever.
What do you want to know more about?
Right. So we hope you stay with us, and we'll come back with a brand new episode here pretty soon. So, all right. Thanks, you for joining us.